No.
Live from Robbie's Starbucks.
Already hate it.
Citizen Journalist Seminar called How to Complain When the Black Woman from Harvard with the PhD steals the white guy from Indiana's job, even though they are not even really competing in the same field or for the same job or at the same company. 101.
That's the 101 course.
Yeah.
That feels advanced.
An all-new, terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by analyst Hall Matt Moscardi. Whoa!
You know, the only part of the sentence you have to get right is the name of the show. That's the one you fumbled.
Business something or other. On
Pantsy pants.
today's Shine Bright Like a Jamie Dimon called June 3rd, 2025. It's the bad game. I've noticed that we renamed it the Dripping with Sarcasm Good Game. Which do you prefer?
Well, let's not say we renamed it. Let's say you.
When did I
named
do
it
that? When did I do that? But I don't know which you think works, the bad game or the Dripping with Sarcasm Good Game.
Well, the Dripping with Sarcasm Good Game allows me to basically make up the score entirely.
Let's do that then.
Depending on what I'm feeling. So let's do that.
That's the winner.
Already we have a winner.
Okay, Matt, these are headlines just from the last couple of days. I don't even go, I don't like dig way back. I'm constantly updating headlines.
Whoa. Who's this show brought to us by?
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFloatAnalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free.
Yeah, that's all. You gotta give some props to the
people
one sponsor we have.
FreeFlowAnalytics.com, always working on some new bells and whistles, always. And you know what? If you're a client or a prospective client, they can actually build bespoke, right? Ad hoc.
That's true. They can.
Data sets. They can do
you know what they're building
tools.
right now?
There's all kinds of stuff you can do, yeah.
I just asked them. You know what they're working on right now? They're tagging every director who's ever overseen a CEO transition before and how many times and how long those CEOs have lasted. Seems like relevant information in an age where we're seeing more CEO resignations than ever before, right?
In fact, some of the people at FreeFloatAnalytics.com had a conversation with a very lovely gentleman from a compensation consultancy on Friday.
They did, yeah.
Who reached out to them because he in a nutshell, he said, there's a lot of data there. So let's talk about it. How could I use it? What are some of the applications? What are your clients doing with it? Let's brainstorm. So if you find the data set to be overwhelming or just too novel for your pea brain, reach out. And that's not my words. That's not my words.
Please don't call any prospective client a pea brain.
These days, I think it would be nice to have a pea brain. It just seems relaxing.
That does seem actually like a higher order of intelligence. Let's
play. Come on.
The sarcasm game. All right,
Dripping with Sarcasm, good game. So here's the way this works, Matt. I've picked 15 headlines from the past 2 days, and I'm just going to throw them at you. You're the arbiter of truth. How good are they in a very sarcastic way? How bad? I don't know. How bad? Let's just start.
All right, do it. Just do it. Yeah.
Securities body considers rollback of DEI and ESG goals. That's the International Securities Services Association in Switzerland. This is after, in the UK, both the Financial Conduct Authority and the Prudential Regulation Authority have scrapped mandatory DEI rules.
I know Trump complains that we don't export enough.
Yeah.
We seem to be exporting anti-DEI really well.
Is this incredible? Because the article mentions, this is from thebanker.com, that this is due to political climate shifts under Trump 2.0. This is Swiss-based.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What's happening here? I don't know. That's embarrassing.
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
What do you think about this one?
What do I think about this one? If I'm dripping with sarcasm, what do I think about this one?
Well, you are. That's the mandate today.
I think they didn't go far enough, is what I think. Okay, so this group, this is ISSA, International
ISSA,
Securities.
that's right, yeah.
They actually have a working group for financial crime compliance. They also have a working group for sustainability and securities services.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are they doing with those working groups? This is the era of no compliance, no regulations, no sustainability, no DEI. We're just doing the DEI. You didn't go far enough.
Oh.
So I'm giving it a 0 because they didn't go far enough.
Okay, I like this. So you're not only is the game or the headline sarcastically good, but you're being sarcastic with your scoring. It's a double light. Is that balance each other out?
Negates. I think it negates. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't like our particular brand of sarcasm, first of all, tough luck. But
that's a way to get more listeners.
yeah, let's not forget that one of the most popular shows in NPR history is Car Talk. Now, you were okay with that; they were sarcastic, and you know what? I bet a lot of you didn't even care about how to fix your car. So just be nice to us. Just come on, be kind.
Also, just in case you're thinking about who made a decision to cut DEI from a security
callback
body, right?
Yeah. Immediate callback to the first.
Let me list some of the
Go ahead.
names or the companies of the people who are on the executive board of this organization.
Yeah, go ahead.
BNP Paribas. There are multiple people from BNP, so the French don't like this. There's someone from Citi. There's Deutsche Bank. There's NASDAQ, JP Morgan.
So none of this is shocking. Yeah.
There's Northern Trust. There's all of those places have like ESG and sustainability teams, and not all of them are cutting the DEI at their places. Why are you cutting it here?
And it's possible. It's possible that President Trump, American President Trump, it's possible that he won't live forever.
What?
Yeah.
Is it also possible that he doesn't actually? He's not the president of BNP Paribas Bank?
Nor does he know what the International Securities Services Association even is.
Oh, this is just compound.
Let's go to the next headline.
All right, can we please?
This is a head scratcher. This stems back from some of the advertising on Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Elon Musk's company, Twitter. FTC investigates ad groups and watchdogs alleging boycott collusion. This is just mind-blowing, Matt. The Federal Trade Commission is investigating whether roughly a dozen prominent advertising and advocacy groups violated antitrust law by coordinating boycotts among advertisers that did not want their brands to appear alongside hateful online content. Can you imagine that this is how they're exercising their mandate?
I love this.
This is mind-blowing. I find this mind-blowing. And by hateful online content, I'm not just talking about someone saying to someone else like, I hate your lollipop. It's not that. It's like literal neo-Nazis with swastikas.
Nazis.
Yeah. Klansmen, the worst of our society.
The problem is not that they didn't want to appear next to swastikas and Nazis. The problem is that they talk to each other about it. That's the problem.
God forbid, yeah.
Because
God forbid
they probably can you imagine being like Jerry and Sector 7G calling up somebody at a friendly company and being like, "How is your Twitter feed also full of Nazis?"
Yeah.
And then that's it. That phone call,
like
where they just confirmed it, and they're like, "We're going to stop advertising because of all these Nazis."
Not to mention, you're operating in a climate where the man who owns and runs Twitter, or whatever you call it, Elon Musk, is known to publicly harass, threaten, bully people. So why wouldn't they talk offline to be like, how do we handle this situation?
No, you know what? I'm giving this a 10.
Ooh, I like it.
And I'm giving it a 10 for the following reason.
Yeah.
We talked at the time and continually about how companies make a choice to continue to advertise in these places at all.
Or post,
have accounts.
Yeah.
They have, offices in Florida. They have offices in they have determined that despite the rhetoric, despite the, hate content, it is in their fiscal interest somehow to continue to have a relationship with these platforms. Well, it's not. Now it's definitely not, and it's your fault. So I'm giving this a 10 because this was foreseeable, it was inevitable, and it's I don't know what to tell you, companies. You can't be angry about this. Now you're going to spend your time in court fighting stupid, idiotic billionaires. That's what you're going to do.
I don't know if I'm rooting for a 0 or a 10 in this game. I don't.
It's a
That's
10.
just a complete confusing game. And the next headline: Climate startups are pausing operations, cutting staff, and entering bankruptcy as Trump policies bite. The Energy Department announced nearly $4 billion worth of funding cuts for clean energy and climate projects this past weekend.
I don't think there's a way to spin this one sarcastically, is
No,
there?
it sucks.
This one just sucks.
Just straight sucks.
So
yeah.
I'm either giving it a 10 for maximum suctitude,
That would seem right
or I'm giving it a 0
for really being the worst.
for sarcastic goodness.
Sad. Yeah. Where
I'm
you
going to
landing?
give it a 10 for suctitude.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
There's nothing good about that. There's no
yeah.
commentary. There's nothing good.
Let's go back to Europe. This is an odd one, and I do want to hear your opinion on this. Allianz GI. Allianz.
wait. Allianz?
Allianz Global Investors.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that, how do you say that? Allianz GI? Allianz G? How do you
Yeah, like
Allianz?
gastrointestinal, GI. Yeah.
Says the first ESG defense allocations likely this year. So they expect that some of its ESG funds to start adding defense holdings.
Proof that
Defense
ESG
holdings.
fund
Yeah.
is not a thing.
Well, yeah,
Not a thing.
I don't know what to say about this one.
I love it because I love all these. They're proving our points continually. ESG fund is not a thing. ESG is data.
It's definitely not
that's
political. We know it's not political.
All they're saying is there's a fund where we're using a whole lot of other data to also make decisions.
So it sounds like you're okay with this. Then it sounds like you're okay with that.
Well, they're basically saying we didn't decide to put like blinders on the sides of our eyes, wear a hat and a hood over that, and sunglasses when we look at information about investing. They decided
like
to take all those things off and look at all the data
Yeah.
and make a fund out of it. So adding defense allocations to an ESG fund is simply saying we've decided when looking at the data that blowing shit up is fine. It's a great investment. That probably have a blow shit up data point. That's what they're using.
Or
I
building
think Sustainalytics built that in, didn't they?
or building like ESG shields, big giant shields.
Yeah, to block you from the
blow
genitals of DEI, right?
Okay, you're going pretty far now. Give me a score on this one.
I love it. It's a 10. Let's give it a 10. We're
Europe,
just gonna go straight 10s.
Europe, I know you're listening. I rely on you for to do the opposite of this kind of nonsense, like getting rid of DEI goals and
This is fine.
and
Honestly,
investing in
all-
war.
it was all every time you see this, it was all kabuki theater. It's not like Allianz, like sat at the table and was like, we are where we want to save the world. They will do whatever it takes to maximize capital inflows and making money.
Let's stay in
That's
Europe.
it.
Let's stay in Europe for the next headline. The
Oh,
EU.
well, this is like a whole EU show.
The European Commission will propose more flexible climate goal in July. So the
Like a yoga
proposal
goal?
the proposal will set an EU goal to cut net greenhouse gas emissions 90% by 2040. However, the EU plans to add flexibilities to that target, which could reduce what it demands from domestic industries. So basically, it's not really a. Is it still a goal? If it's a flexible goal, is it still a goal? Like if you're doing your driver's test, you know how you're supposed to stop at a stop sign. You're not supposed to do a roll stop.
Yeah.
But if they say it's flexible, you can stop or you can roll.
That's perfect. Yeah.
But then if you roll,
You didn't stop.
do you not get your license? Like, how does that work? Like, is that a stop? I don't really understand
Well,
any of this. Yeah.
I like that analogy because much like in that analogy, if there are cars going in the opposite directions and you do a roll stop, you get run over. The cars don't care
Yeah.
whether you have a flexible goal or a real goal like stopping.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, the climate doesn't care whether your goals are flexible or not.
That's true. Yeah.
It doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're dead. So, this one I don't like because this one seems like a yoga goal. Like, what are we doing, right? Like, there's no sarcasm in that. That's not funny. That's not like ironic.
And again, it's out of a political body that we expect to be the adults in this arena. We expect them not to waver on things like climate goals just because there's a bloated, fatuous U.S. president.
You all know that the science doesn't care about your policy.
Yeah, and
Like,
also doesn't care who wins popular
no,
elections.
doesn't care. Like,
Yeah.
when the ice caps melt because it's 85 degrees higher on this planet, your flexible goal won't matter that much.
Yeah.
Like, we won't be celebrating your flexibility in allowing people to not emit. So I'm giving this a 0.
Oh, good. I like how you're completely bipolar on this game so far. Just zeros
I'm
and
actually
tens.
I'm mentally tracking. I just wanted to average to a 5 because I don't know what to score.
Here's the next one. Thank God we're out of Europe, at least for the next one. Meta. You love Meta. Meta platforms.
I don't know if it's thank God we're in meta.
Meta wants to replace its human workers with AI to review privacy and societal risks. Oh, boy.
Oh, finally.
According to the company's internal documents obtained by NPR, the algorithm could automate up to 90% of all risk assessments previously done by people. This means that essential updates to Meta's safety features, programming, and content sharing capabilities will be mainly optimized by AI. Matt, I say this because I have been using AI for very simple tasks. So I use every week for the Proxy Countdown show, I have to look at sometimes several hundred companies that have voting results, upcoming meetings, blah, blah, blah. I've been trying to use AI to help me fill out my spreadsheets.
It's always wrong.
Not only is it always wrong, but 1 week it works, 1 week it doesn't. 1 hour it works, 5 minutes later it works, or it doesn't work, or it changes its mind, or the figures change, or it's mind blowing how inaccurate the whole thing can be. And this is from company to company. I will switch back and forth like 3 or 4 different platforms. It's a mind boggling mess. Which is not to say that, hey, I get it. It takes time to build things that work appropriately, but that companies are already shifting things like this over to AI. My mind is a bit scarred with that thought. What do you think about this one?
Well, my first thought was, could AI do worse than Meta?
Well,
it's Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay,
right?
I like this version. I like the perspective you're taking, because maybe the workers there are more allegiant to Mark Zuckerberg, and they don't actually care about the safety, the societal risks in the first place. Right?
Yes.
Right?
I mean, like, we just had Elon Musk train the AI to say there's a white genocide in South Africa, though.
Yeah.
Like, it just says that.
Well, train, you mean tell. But
yes, tell.
Yeah.
But I did just type into ChatGPT, here's what I typed, should Meta use AI to police privacy and societal issues on its platform?
Oh, I like this.
And ChatGPT, in a very diplomatic way, said whether they should depends.
Yeah.
Here's some arguments for and against. And then I said, just answer what you do. Like, what would you do?
Yeah.
And it says Meta should use AI as a tool, not as the decision maker.
Oh.
So if they turn on the AI to police this stuff, will the AI say, you idiots, I'm not equipped to do this? Is that
they'll just sort of stop. They'll stop themselves.
They'll stop themselves because it is not equipped to get that thing done.
Something tells me that Mark will then just reprogram it.
Yes, that's correct.
Go ahead.
I think having anything other than Mark making these decisions is probably like a step up, even if it's only like 2% better.
I like this.
I'm going to give it a 10.
You know, if you're going for an average 5, that means you could do two 5s, right? I'm trying to do the math here. Like, you couldn't do 1 5.
I think I'm over right now.
But you could
need
do
like
2
5s.
5s.
I think.
All right, let's just keep moving. This one I'm a little bit confused about. I don't even know where to land on this one. And this is like the wonkiest story we're gonna have all week. The headline is "Something is awry in Delaware. New study reveals lawyers in the smallest U.S. state are winning fee multipliers from major companies up to 66 times their normal hourly rate." Now the point of all this is this. That venture capitalists who are behind the study, or maybe reading the study, I don't know, can venture capitalists read? I don't know, it's up to the debate. They're increasing their calls for their businesses to incorporate elsewhere or move their corporation out of the state. So the sum of this, Matt, is this exit from Delaware, which has already seemed to be one of the more corporate-friendly jurisdictions. Is this a bad sign? Is this bad?
Well, so the study was done by a
Yeah.
Stanford professor, and venture capitalists out in Silicon Valley are the ones like the most upset about it, right? Like,
Sure.
So
A lot of venture capitalists out there.
it feels like it might be like a couple of startup-y tech bros who are upset.
Providing cover for their Dexit, for the Delaware exit.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't it feel kind
Their
of like
race
that?
to Texas.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't read the study, but I do know that it's highly localized, and like 7 people on the planet care a lot about it. And it was inevitable that, like, in a capitalist system, if everyone's in Delaware, that it would cost more to find a lawyer to file in Delaware because everyone wants to be in Delaware. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you charge more.
Just like if you don't want to be put in prison in our current judicial system, you do have to pay more for the lawyer who will help you stay out of prison, right? You
Exactly.
can't. Unfortunately, you can't just go to the dude who works above the subway who just graduated law school at Ed's University. You could, but good luck with that.
It would not go as well.
Wouldn't go well.
I also wonder what kind of fees we're talking. It's like 66 times their hourly rate. Well, if they were making $10 an hour, is that bad? If you use them for 3 hours to file a paper once a year,
we know how much we know how much money flows through these corporations. Anyway, we know how much they pay their executives. It is a weird thing to complain about, is it not? I mean, and let's not forget that I picked up this story from Fortune.com, and the picture Fortune used for the story was, of course, Elon Musk. So there is a loaded, weird. This is like a very passive aggressive story. I feel like they're just creating excuses because this is the year where all the big baby billionaires and all the big baby men who run our world, they don't want to be regulated anymore. They don't want anyone looking over their shoulders. They don't want anyone telling them what to do. Right? This is that year.
Here's a classic.
Go ahead.
Tell in the article itself.
Go ahead.
Here's a quote from someone on a podcast, an investor on a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Quote, "There's an activist mentality in the Delaware courts." That's the opening quote.
Really? Is that?
Yeah,
really?
that's the opening quote. So what are we really talking about here?
Yeah.
We're just finding anything we can do to justify moving to Texas where there are no rules?
Yeah.
None rules?
Right. You don't want any counterbalance.
And what does that have to do with
oversight?
Like, the
is
courts?
very feminine, I think, is what they're saying.
I mean, like, it was like everyone's upset about Elon Musk's pay package, which was like a fraud to begin with, right? He effectively perpetrated a fraud. That's what the Delaware Chancery Court said. He perpetrated a fraud on the investors, right? Like, it was a captured board. And how does that make its way into an article about the cost of hiring
weird.
a lawyer in Delaware?
I don't know if do you blame like Donald Trump? Do you blame Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg? But we're entering this awkward stage of like idol worship. We're worshiping these weird men. We just worship these weird dudes now. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Like, why would you be upset at the Chancery for that decision, protecting investors over this one dude? The whole thing is bizarre to me, but go ahead.
What you do, we're not in the age of Trump or the age of tech. We're in the age of middle school bros. These are middle school manflakes.
Yeah.
So they complain about everything.
Vain narcissists.
Like, it's just that, like,
but why do they need so much, Matt? That's what I really
I've never
want to know.
seen so
Why?
much victim complex out of people with so much
true.
fucking money.
Yeah.
They literally control everything. Like,
Yeah.
you go out like to a Dunkin' and ask somebody where they get their health care, and they barely, if they have health care, it covers like, only if they get shot in the face. And you ask like regular people what their lives are like, and most of them do not have like deep victim complexes. But you go to like Silicon Valley, or you talk to the Trump acolyte, like all these middle school manflakes, Zuckerberg, they act like the world has been against them their entire lives, and everyone's against them now.
Where did
and
they get? Yeah, where did
what is that?
So they just absorbed all the quote unquote woke language that they hated, and now they're making it their own. Now they're the woke, the
I don't
wokest
get
of them
it.
all. They're the
Like,
woke
look
snowflakes
up
now.
from your device
It is
and
weird.
realize no one gives a fuck about you and your victim complex. Like,
Yeah.
get over yourself.
Give me a score here. Come on.
I'm gonna give it a 0 because I think I have to balance out the scores.
Oh, see now, are we really playing the game anymore then?
Well, I mean, it does make it. I'm not sarcastically angry. I'm actually angry, so I'm giving it a 0.
Let's move on, and you can do this one quickly if you don't want to spend a lot of time on this one. This is just strange.
That's how you tell me to go faster.
Well, I know you're gonna hate everything about this. That's what I really mean. Elon Musk reportedly owes Donald Trump a colossal sum of money, according to Futurism and other venues, other media companies. Musk reportedly still owes Trump $100 million out of the $300 million he committed to get him elected. Yeah,
I love this.
You love this. I'm confused by this one. Yeah.
I love the fact that a guy who doesn't pay his bills ever is short shrifting another guy who doesn't pay his bills ever. Right?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that both of their MOs? They sue everyone who like says anything about them, disagrees with them. They try to use bully tactics for everything.
Yeah,
And
they
now
use
there's
government
100
resources to build their companies.
Oh,
and
it's
yet,
fabulous. It's like we're willing to take in one
yet
direction.
yell at those government resources. Yeah.
And now one guy who does all that is doing that to the other guy who does all that. Like, this is apex predators of grift at each other.
Give me
it's
a score.
Fabulous.
Give me a score.
It's a 10.
Yeah, I
it's
knew you were gonna say
definitely a 10. I don't hate this. I love this.
Here we go. I'll get your mood back down to the floor. Secret. Next headline: Secret Open AI memo. That's already bad.
Already bad. You can't start a sentence with that.
Because again, this is the stupid company where their baby college dropout CEO overlord refused to listen to its own board, because the board was doing its job and trying to remove him because he wasn't sharing information. He was going against the mandate of the company. But anyway, this is the guy who refuses to listen to anyone. So here's the headline: Secret OpenAI memo describes plans to make users rely on Entity. So they want plans to build out ChatGPT as an integral part of users' lives, acting as an entity that would understand them and be their interface to the internet. I don't even know.
Oh, you know what our problem has been?
Go ahead.
Not enough access to the internet. That's been the problem.
Yeah.
For, like, society is crumbling because I don't have something that I can ask at any second of any day the answer to the most inane, pointless question.
This is despite didn't you?
What do I do with a splinter?
Didn't you reference a report last week that like 50% of young people wish the internet was never invented?
Oh, it's more than that. I think it was 70% of Gen Z wishes the internet wasn't invented.
And again, this is the key reason why I constantly yell at these dictatorship companies, these bros who run things without any oversight, is that they never stop to ask what people actually want or need. They're just steamrolling ahead. They're just steamrolling ahead because it enriches them with fame and money. That's it. That's all they need.
My problem here is I don't know how to score this because this is one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to feel sarcastically about the worst thing I've ever heard, right? Especially when you combine this with the fact that your earlier story was flexible climate goals and climate startups basically getting no capital.
Right.
And what we're replacing that with is an entity who's basically going to sit next to us, listen to our every thought and move, and distract us from the fact that outside of our window, everything's on fire.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it. It's a 0.
No. One more, and then we'll end the show on a speed round. We'll end the show on a speed round.
Bring me up. Bring me back up again.
No, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go on this one. And then we'll end. This is the bad game. This is the Dripping with Sarcasm good game for June 3rd, 2025. this is kind of a nice segue from the last one. Humans will live forever by 2050 thanks to android bodies and AI minds.
Ooh.
Futurologist Dr. Ian Pearson believes advances in computing, genetic engineering, and robotics will let people become immortal. Quote, by 2050, it will only really be for the rich and famous, though, he says.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What was that movie with Matt Damon where there was like the Elysium? Wasn't that like where like there's the floating like spaceship and then
Another
the people
entity?
who lived on the Earth and
yeah.
it was a hellhole and the people in the spaceship like had access to like computers that
Is
would
this
just
why
fix
Musk
everything
wants to
for
get to
them.
Mars so quickly?
Mostly I want to just pause
Yeah.
and consider 2050.
Yeah.
The year
25
by
years from
which we can't achieve anything climate related. It's too expensive. It's too impossible. We'll never do it.
But we will have, but according to Musk, we will have a robot army. We'll be living on Mars. All these other great things.
And
will
Dr.
happen.
Ian Pearson says we'll be
We'll live
basically
forever.
immortal. We will be immortal in a place that is uninhabitable. That's what we want to achieve.
You know what it makes me think? Much like the failed WeWork governance plan that they put in their IPO that ultimately blew up the company, where they basically said that if the CEO dies, all the power gets handed over to his wife.
His wife, yeah.
Why don't
It
we
was like
try to
the
make
royal-
CEOs immortal? Why don't we like some kind of a governance clause that says that Mark Zuckerberg or his entity will always run Facebook forever, no matter what?
Like a royal clause, but
his AI entity or whatever it is. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Why don't we go for that?
Ooh, you just changed this from I hated it to I love it.
All right, give me a score. Come on.
Which means I have to give it a 5 because
All right,
I'm
let's.
in the middle.
Oh, you kind of just ruined the score. Good. Let's. Oh well, I don't know. We have 5 more. Let's go speed round now. Okay. Speed round.
Do we want speed round music?
Yes,
for
go
this?
for it.
All right, let's. I don't know. Let's just do some speed round music.
Oh. CEO pay rose nearly 10% in 2024. Associated Press analysis finds.
Thank God they're finally getting paid. 10.
Alaska will lose 69% of its glacier mass under current climate change pledges.
Oh, where are we going to ski? 0.
Women run 11% of Fortune 500 companies in 2025, but progress is still slow. Doesn't that 11%, doesn't that already indicate that progress is slow? They had to add that to the headline?
Just in case I was confused.
Jesus Christ.
11% wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
They made sure I understood.
What kind of a world is this?
Well,
yeah,
look, the fact is Vivek Ramaswamy said here.
Speed round,
the reason for that was CRT. So I'm going to give this a 7.
Oh, now you're really messing up the scoring. 2 more headlines. Dollar General posts record sales as bargain stores attract more people anxious about the economy.
You know what? Boy. This is a 0 because Dollar General doesn't sell anything for $1 anymore. That's just lying.
And finally, here's the headline. Jamie Dimon for president. Why the banking CEO would be a welcome alternative for many voters. You're buzzing, but you would take him in a heartbeat over the current president, would you not?
The number of Jamie Dimon says headlines, I think he thinks more, obviously. Like he has more thoughts in his head.
Well, of course.
Why do I have to listen to blowhard white men for the rest of my life? I already am one. I know what it sounds like.
What does this rumor really, though, say about the current state of being a CEO in America, right? Because do you know how many constant rumors there are, especially around Jamie Dimon, but on other CEOs about whether they should be president, will be president? It's just that's what everyone likes to talk about.
It's just white guy with money says possible presidential run.
You don't like that
Could
one.
be
Give me a
president.
score.
Come on, I'm tired of it. I'll give it a 0.
All right. You're close, Matt. You're a 5.1. That's the score. 5.1. But let's round down and call it a 5. Let's call it a 5. Let's call it a 5.
That was the best, worst game we've ever played. That's Hazelnut Rollins. I'm your analyst, Solomon Mascari. We are Free Float. If you like this and you want some data to back up these blowhardy words, go to freefloatanalytics.com.
Oh, there's so much data.
Sign up with an email address. All you need is an email address, not a credit card, There is not a place on the internet, even if the internet is an entity sitting next to you, there is not another place on the internet where for your email address, you can see 90,000 active people running companies.
Incredible.
Data about how powerful they are at those companies, data about their performance, how connected they are. There's so much you can see. And just think of the applications. Doesn't it make you want to play like fantasy board director games? It does. So go do that. Also check out our other podcast, Shareholder Primacy, coming out on Wednesday. And you can check out our Friday wrap of the week this Friday. Until then, good.